We're going to call the meeting of the Finance Committee to order on September 4th, 2019. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman at Large Michael O'Brien is present. Alderman at Large Brandon Laws. Here. Alderman Linda Harriet Gathright.
Present.
Alderman Patricia Clay.
Here.
And Chairman Mayor Jim Donches.
Here.
Not in attendance this evening is Alderwoman at Large Shoshana Kelly and Alderman June Karen. Also in attendance is Kim Kleiner, Director of Administrative Services, David Fredette, Treasurer, Tax Collector, and Dan Coogan, Purchasing Manager.
All right, first thing on the agenda is public comment. Is there any member of the public who wishes to address the committee? And I don't think there is. So we'll go to communications. Alderman O'Brien.
Going to have to, yes, without objection.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There being no objection, I will suspend the rules to allow the introduction of a communication received after the agenda was prepared. Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. From Dan Coogan, Purchasing Manager. The recent extension of a contract for Phase 2 of a consulting regarding the implementation of funding for the Performing Arts Center. I would like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and approve the contract extension with Full Circle Consulting in the amount of $24,000. Funds are available in Department 183 Economic Development Fund, PAC project cost.
Discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Alderman O'Brien.
From Mayor Jim Donches, recent contract of construction of Heritage Rail Trail to Mines Falls Park Trail and pedestrian bridge, change order number 3 and number 4. I would like to make a motion to accept and place on file.
Discussion? Alderman Laws.
I just think it's worth putting on the record so anyone watching knows that this is actually cheaper.
Yes.
Usually when we're doing these change orders, it's because we're costing the city more money, but
This
actually-
time, we're amending the contract down
yeah.
by $3,000 or $4,000. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Alderman O'Brien.
From Dan Coogan, Purchasing Manager. Approval of a contract to hold an online auction of surplus equipment at Ultimate Nashua Industrial Corporation. I would like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and approve the online auction contract with Quaker City Auctioneers Incorporated.
Discussion? Alderwoman Clee.
Yes, I just have a quick question. I assume that this is auctioning off the older vehicles, and is that what it is, or just
No,
old
this
equipment in
is-
general?
This is all the equipment contained in IMCO building. There's a lot of CNC equipment, a lot of old lathes and that kind of thing, and then a lot of machine tools, that sort of thing.
Okay, so it's just from that one particular building?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I thought when I read this, it was talking about other things, but thank you for the clarification.
So the reason we have possession and ownership of this is that as part of all the litigation, which is still ongoing with the former owner of NIMCO, the city obtained a judgment against the company and then went to court to get an order saying that we own the equipment, which we got. So now we have the right to go forward and auction the equipment to the highest bidder. Yes.
Just one more
Alderwoman
question.
Clee.
And the funds for this would go into what account?
Nothing designated yet.
Okay.
If the Board of Aldermen were to direct it or appropriate it into a particular purpose, that's where it would go. If no action were taken before June 30 of next year, the end of the fiscal year, then it would just become surplus.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Alderman O'Brien.
From Dan Coogan, Purchasing Manager, low floor cutaway van. I would like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and award the contract to New England Wheels in the amount of $123,894. Funds are available in Department 181, Community Development, Transit Grants, SURF.
Discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Alderman O'Brien.
From Dan Coogan, Purchasing Manager, City Hall front door renovations. I would like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and award the contract to North Point Construction Management in the amount of $27,169. Source of the funding is Department 129, Building Department, Building Trust Fund.
And Ms. Kleiner is here to discuss this.
Good evening, Ms. Kleiners, Administrative Services Director. So we apologize, on July 24th, we actually brought this item to infrastructure, where we talked about it at some length. We included that presentation with your packet so that you could review that. At that time, it fell just below the threshold to bring it to finance. It came in at $24,869. Since then, we have realized that we need a change order. One of the latches for the door actually needs a second latch in order for the doors to both open when you get the signal, the electronic signal, which RISC will have control of. So we didn't want to have a crash bar or some sort of lever on that second door, so we're going to put an electronic latch on that one as well. That's an extra $2,300. So what we decided to do was to bring the entire thing to you this evening, since now the price of the entire project is over $25,000. Now it comes in at $27,169. But still the same importance follows from the original project. This is going to make City Hall much more welcoming, much more accessible, much more secure. So all the same factors that we discussed at infrastructure still exist, except it'll be even better with that second interlocking mechanism. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Alderwoman Clee.
Thank you. When you're talking about the second latch, you said RISC would have control of that. Does that mean that that door is not going to open? It'll just be the single door that'll open? Or will both doors open?
Both doors will unlock, and we hope to have RISC have control of that.
Okay.
Right now, we have a system, which you're all aware of, at the back door, and the doors unlock in the morning. That's run by our building department, and they work very closely with our IT department on that access. And then some of us have cards access that we can access on a small keypad. You won't have the keypad at the front door, but you will have that same unlocking system, so that at 7:30, I think we have it set for 7:30, now for the back door, it'll automatically unlock.
Yes.
I want to say that I'm glad that we are getting these doors fixed. I was not here at the infrastructure, but I did watch it, and it was quite shocking. Some of the issues and so on with that door, and I think it's in desperate need of replacement and repair. Thank you.
Anything else? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Alderman O'Brien.
From Dan Coogan, Purchasing Manager, 2019 paving program, local and collector roadways, change order number 1. I would like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and approve change order number 1 to the contract for Sunshine Paving Corporation in the amount of $300,000. Funds are available in Department 161, Streets Department and Department 169 wastewater.
And of course, we have our engineering department here to explain this. Maybe,
Sure.
please explain what the change would be.
Good evening, Pete Colmy, Deputy City Engineer. The initial contract with Sunshine Paving is almost complete. They're over 90% done. They've done a good job for us. They're looking to do more work, and we are more than happy to give them some more streets to pave in the city. There should be a list of the streets and the proposed treatments in the packet. And that's it's quite simple, I think.
Discussion? Alderman Laws.
Just because there's a theme here, if I'm not mistaken, they were actually under budget, and there was money left over in our contract with them, and we're gonna roll that into this as well.
I do not know if they're under budget.
I saw that in the agenda. I may be wrong. It's first time for everything.
I don't know the specifics of this particular contract.
Discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Alderman O'Brien.
From Dan Coogan, Purchasing Manager, Marshall Street Roadway Improvements, Change Order Number 2. I would like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and approve Change Order Number 2 to the contract with Tiabo Corporation in the amount of $20,000. Source of funding is Department 169 wastewater.
Okay, so we've been working with the developer on Marshall Street. We initially hired them to do a little bit of curb reset and install some drainage for us. Marshall Street's in rough shape. It needs some help with drainage and grading. And as we started to dig into the road, we discovered there was a concrete base under the asphalt. It's crumbling, and we'd like to get rid of it and replace it with gravel and hot mix asphalt. This money is just for the concrete excavation. The paving will be probably done by either Sunshine or Brock's, one of our paving contractors.
Discussion? Alderwoman Clee.
Sorry to be so many questions, but
No problem.
when you say that the paving will be done by Brock's or something, is that within contract, or will you come back again for the additional funding for that? Because you said this was just
No,
for the
I-
excavation. Yeah.
I don't believe we will be coming back. It actually might be in the $300,000, the initial $300,000 that we just talked about. It might be, I think it may be one of those streets.
I saw Gilsum Road. I don't know if I saw.
Well, the 300,000 is because they're under budget. So they're completing more streets than we thought for the amount of money allocated. So the reason that there are quite a few additional streets, 12, 15 additional streets here, is that we were under budget and now can do more streets. I'm not sure it's determined who is going to do the paving and how it will be paid for, but these contracts are quite large, and this is a fairly short section, so it probably won't be a problem including it in either Brock's or Sunshine, the two paving contractors that are out in the field right now.
Well, I'm glad to see more streets getting done. Thank you.
Yeah.
Some of them in Ward 3, I think, right?
Yeah,
Beard Street.
yeah,
Yes. It's good, right?
yes. It's always good.
We'll just get you some help later.
I've got
All
a whole
right.
list of them, Penachuk.
Any other, in some in Ward 9?
Yes. See?
That's right.
Actually, my street is currently under the repair and doing a fine job, yes.
So,
Still waiting for mine.
all right, any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Alderman O'Brien.
From Dan Coogan, Purchasing Manager, Monica Drive Drainage Improvements. I would like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and award the contract to RWC Enterprise in the amount of $129,900. Funds are available in Department 169 wastewater.
Discussion? You want to give us a
Sure.
explanation?
The Monica Drive area has been suffering from drainage issues for years. We've had a lot of complaints from the residents. The streets department did try and go in there and kind of patch things up a year or two ago, but it needs more extensive, deeper work than that. So this project is gonna install some drainage pipe in the road, under the road, and we're gonna reconstruct part of the road that was pretty badly beaten up from groundwater and stormwater not having a place to go.
Discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Alderman O'Brien.
From Dan Coogan, Purchasing Manager, Consent Decree 2019 Updated Long-Term Control Plan. I would like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and award the contract to Hazen in the amount not to exceed $487,760. Source of the funding is Department 169 wastewater.
And this is a control plan that the EPA has requested that we do in order to further reduce CSO or combined sewer overflow discharge to the rivers. Alderwoman Clee.
Yes, thank you. I think as far as our overflow into the river, I think we've been pretty good as to not having to dump. But and I know this is a double-edged sword. When you separate the sewage from the overflow, and that's kind of what in this particular thing, I know that means that runoff water can go into the river, and the runoff water isn't always all that clean. Sometimes not any cleaner than our sewage water is. So, is there, when things like that happen, because I've been getting a lot of phone calls and so on from people, about 4 weeks ago, we had a severe Thursday night storm that created a lot of this overflow into people's basements, into their yards, and so on. Do we know when any of this regular rainwater overflow would go into the river outside of the wastewater plant? Do we have any knowledge of that particular thing?
Well, the treatment plant is designed to handle probably 95 to 99% of the storms, but we seem to be getting a 10-year storm about every year.
I know.
Part of the problem is just the drainage. The drainage infrastructure, the pipes and the catch basins are inadequate. So this plan this is a long-term plan that is going to partly help to solve that as well. But what the EPA cares more about are discharges into the Nashua and the Merrimack rivers. So more than anything, this plan is going to clean that up or try and eliminate any kind of dirty discharge from getting into the rivers. This is a long-term plan. This is a plan we'll be using probably for the next 10 to 20 years to upgrade pipes, catch basins. It is a significant contract, but we need a comprehensive plan to do it right. 5, 10, 20 years from now, we'll be relying on this document.
May I? And I agree with you, and I'm glad to see that we're going to have a plan and so on. I know even over by where your residency is, Mr. Mayor, I've gotten some people that have called and complained about the overflow of that type of thing, and I know that even some of our drainage areas that we have 2 and 3 catch basins close together, and because of the way the land tilts after a while, they're totally inadequate. There's no water even going into them. just draining
Yeah.
right by them and so
Yeah.
on. Will this plan look into any of those types of, the drainage of catch basins at all? Or is this just straight off the CSO?
We have a plan we call CMOM, and that plan is more geared towards the maintenance and the operation
Okay,
of the pipes and the catch basins. That plan is fairly new. We received it about a year ago,
okay.
so we're just taking first steps to implement that.
I won't belabor. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Any other questions, comments? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Alderman O'Brien.
From Dan Coogan, Purchasing Manager, Digester Gas Tank Coating Project. I'd like to make the motion to accept, place on file, and award a contract to JB Safety Incorporated in the amount of $136,400. Funds are available in Department 169 wastewater.
Maybe you could provide an explanation?
Sure. My name's Bill Keating. I'm the wastewater engineer at for the wastewater department. And we have a digester gas tank which stores gas from the digester during the decomposition of the solid material, generates gas, methane gas primarily. And we want to feed that into, we're in the process of upgrading the energy recovery facility, and it'll feed into 2 gas digesters when they're installed. So this is just one part of the big overall upgrade of the whole anaerobic digestion system. And the gas tank is 20 years old, and it has a lot of rust both inside and outside it. And right now it's down. It's not being used because we're upgrading the energy recovery facility. So it's a perfect time to get inside and paint it, recoat it inside and outside, so it'll last, another 20 years or more.
Alderman Laws.
I agree with you, the timing sounds perfect, so I'm supporting it. I'm just curious, how many more pieces are there of this puzzle that we're gonna be seeing coming down the pipeline?
Well, when we're done coating the tank, we have another project on the gas tank itself, upgrading it, because it's kind of hard to explain, but there's an internal diaphragm. It's a kind of like a felt-like material where the gas is compressed. There's like an internal cup that rises up and down, and it's attached to a diaphragm, and that has counterweights on the outside and kind of maintains a low pressure system of only not even 1 psi. It's a little less than a psi. But so we're going to upgrade that when we're done with this, and that'll be a more costly project. We're going to also recoat our primary digester, and we have a secondary digester as well. Those both need to be recoated next year, not 2020, not this year.
Thank you.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Now we have Alderman O'Brien.
From Dan Coogan, Purchasing Manager, Phase 3 Landfill Expansion Construction, Change Order Number 1. I'd like to make the motion to accept, place on file, and approve Change Order Number 1 to the contract with Charter Contracting Company, LLC, in the amount of $175,000. Source of the funding is Department 168, Solid Waste, Phase 3 Landfill Bond.
Mr. LaFleur is here.
Jeff LaFleur, Superintendent Solid Waste. The bulk of this change order is a result of DES not approving our permit in a timely fashion. They've been shorthanded up there. It took them over a year and a half to approve my design for this project. Even when the project wasn't approved, we were going forward with getting the project moving with the necessity of the landfill that we have right now. We're running out of airspace. So this put the contractor behind by 33 days. And again, that's the bulk of the change order.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Alderman O'Brien.
From Dan Coogan, Purchasing Manager, 2019 landfill gas system expansion project. Value, $323,470. Department 168 Solid Waste. I would like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and award the contract to SCS Field Services in the amount of $323,470. Funds are available in Department 168 Solid Waste Landfill Gas Expansion Bonds.
Discussion? Alderwoman Clee.
Yes, I just have one quick question. I always have one quick question. Um, The, the expansion of the landfill gas collection, I just recently had someone who told me that there used to always be a very bad gas smell and so on coming from there, and it doesn't seem to be happening anymore. Is that what does this? Is so it keeps it from killing the neighbors, so to
Exactly.
speak?
Exactly. This system is what's drawing in the gas, which is limiting our emissions going out into the atmosphere around our area. That's why I try to do an expansion every year when it's needed. We do the trash in cells or lifts. So after you reach so many lifts, by permit, we have to put in so much gas collection. Last year, we didn't do any. This is FY19 funds that we're using right now. We didn't have the amount of area that we needed. We had enough well collection where we were. Seems to be working. Now that we're going up another lift, we're putting in this gas collection now. I will tell you, though, that within the next 2 or 3 months, we'll be coming back for another gas expansion. We found a header, a 12-inch header that collects the main part of the gas is starting to collapse. I'm getting bids right now for that to get that changed. Most likely it'll be SCS doing it for us. They're already on site. So I'm just trying to get the funding. As soon as the funding comes through for FY20, I'll be doing that. But your assessment on the odors being under control, this is something that we do every year. We're spending $300,000, $350,000 a year just to keep our neighbors happy.
It's worth every penny. Ward 5 is not my ward, but I'm sure Alderman Jettie appreciates it, as do the neighbors, and it bodes well better for Nashua to keep that up, so thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Unfinished business, we have none. New business, none. Record of expenditures. Is there a motion on the record of expenditures?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to make a motion that the Finance Committee has complied with the city charter and ordinances pertaining to the record of expenditures for the period from August 2nd, 2019 to August 15th, 2019, and from August 16th, 2019 to August 29, 2019.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. General discussion. Are there any general discussion items? Public comment. Is there any member of the public who wants to address the committee? Apparently not. Remarks by aldermen. Do any aldermen or alderwomen have remarks? That's not, when it says alderman, it's not restricted to aldermen. It includes alderwomen. Yes, Alderwoman Clee.
I was going to wait to the next Board of Aldermen to bring this up, but it has nothing to do with the Finance Committee. But for those that are listening, I would like to address the cat mania issue as it was put in the Telegraph. And it pains me to say that somebody did something that wasn't very nice, sending out a mailer to scare the citizens that the city was going to come and capture your kitties and to harm them in some way. That isn't the case. I have posted on Facebook. I have sent out email messages. Many other media groups on Facebook, including Southern New Hampshire Emergency and Community Services, as well as the National Civic Sounding Board, has debunked this, has said that this is not true, put out all the right ones. And today I received a phone call, somebody very upset that I was going to hurt their cat. I personally, is the way it was put, was going to hurt their cat. I can assure everybody, I am not going to hurt anybody's kitty, as well as the law that exists now is not going to change. The amended ordinance does nothing more than to clarify the current law that says impoundment of dogs, cats, ferrets, and chickens at large. At large meaning off premises. We are supposed to keep all of our animals under control. If they're off premises, they should be on some type of leash within your arms, in a carrying case, etc. But cats do get loose. We can't help it. Cats are prey animals, and they're nighttime hunters, so they're going to try to get out. I strongly suggest anybody who has a cat, a dog, even a ferret, get them chipped. Veterinaries and excuse me, Humane Society and shelters have the ability to scan your animal to find the chip, and they can reunite you much easier. Many of these chip organizations also have the ability to put in your rabies license. So that would be proof of rabies vaccination, and it will save a whole lot of time. So I strongly suggest if you have a cat that gets out or is out, that you take the time to have them chipped, and please make sure they have their rabies vaccination. So I will be repeating this at the Board of Aldermen meeting, but I needed to get this out. Thank you very much for indulging me.
And just to add to that, the mailer was inaccurate in several respects. One, it does not change the city's policy or procedure with respect to cats. Legal department believes that the city currently has the right to pick up cats if someone believes they're sick, for example, they have rabies or some other disease, or if they seem to be a stray without a home or something like that. So very few cats are picked up currently. It's probably a handful in the course of a year. There's no intention to change that. But the person who apparently sent the leaflet contests the city's ability to pick up cats, even cats that are sick, even cats that have rabies. So the Board of Health and the legal department recommended that we make it absolutely clear that the city does have that authority, which the legal department believes we already have. So there's no intention here to change anything, to start picking up cats, to harm cats, or anything like that. The leaflet really misrepresented the intent and the language of the ordinance, which if you read it, it's very clear we're talking about sick cats or cats that seem to be strays, which means cats that seem to have a home, which most cats you see seem to have a home, would not be even covered by the ordinance.
And nuisance cats. I have gotten as many phone calls as I've gotten that were angry at me. I've gotten some, thank you, I want this to go through, and it's like it's already there. But the nuisance of sometimes cats want to see other cats, and they see them through the glass, and they will tear through somebody's screen, which can get costly year after year when this is happening. So nuisance cats also.
And this would enable the city, which we already have, the ability to pick up feral or wild cats.
Yes.
The Health Department, the Board of Health, Dr. Wolf Rosenblum has testified that feral cats can spread disease. These are wild cats without an owner. So this would make it clear that the city has the authority to pick up a cat under those circumstances and take it to the shelter. That's all. So anyway, I think we have clarified this. You've clarified it online. I think most people understand it at this point.
Hopefully.
And I guess that's all we need to say at the present time.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Cats, ferrets, roosters, anything?
There's a few jokes I wanted to make.
That's not.
All right. Any other remarks by aldermen or alderwomen? If not, we do not have a non-public session, so we will go to Alderman O'Brien.
Motion to adjourn?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes, and the meeting of the Finance Committee is adjourned at 7:34 PM.